Hello and welcome to another episode of School Talks. So today we're gonna try and swap brakes on the Ninebot MAX G3. Now I don't have a new brakes. I don't have a new brake pads, but I just want to show you how you can do it yourself because you probably need to do it sooner or later. I would probably need to actually work on a rear wheel because you're probably gonna be doing rear wheel before the front wheel. But let's start with the front wheel. Now, usually I would actually take the brake caliper off here on these two bolts. But the thing is that I won't have enough space. So I'm going to actually do it here. And I'll be honest, I tried to do it a couple of minutes ago. And it's interesting. Okay, now regarding new brake pads, where to get them? I don't know, ask Segway. Okay, because they were supposed to provide spare parts, and at the moment it looks pretty hard to get spare parts. So basically same thing. Do you take over the brake caliper by loosening those two bolts or these two bolts? Same thing. Now we're gonna loosen these. Okay, we're gonna loosen brake line there just to make sure that the brake caliper is fully opened. Okay. And now we need to pull out our brake pads. The way I'm going to actually do that is turn it upside down, and then you need to push brake pads towards middle and then push them out. Okay, and they will come out because I don't know how much you can see, guys. I'll try and find something, to put it on and bring it closer. But you see those small hooks on the side? Well, they are actually, catching inside of the brake caliper. So because of that, you need to that's kind of a safety latch or whatever to prevent them popping out. And then of course you have a small spring in the middle. Okay, so yeah, brake pads. I'll have a look if I manage to find them. I'll put a link in a video, but here, just a moment here. So that's what you're looking at. Yeah, and I need to check. I'll measure them later and put the measurements in a video description. Now, putting them back in, putting a brand new brake pads back in, well, that's going to be quite interesting. Usually, I would now, because my hands are dirty and everything, I would, of course, clean them a little bit with the brake cleaner. But I'm not going to do it now. Now you need a hex 5 because it's just there's not going to be enough space there to put them back in. So this is how I'm going to do it. If there's a better way, and if I find a video where it's shown better how to do it, I'll redo a video again. But for the moment, I'm kind of trying to do this in a kind of fastest possible way. And that's it. Yeah, and scooter is locked, of course. I stopped actually using a airlock function. Okay, now with this, we're going to get more clearance there in between. So now I'm just going to take my brake pads, both of them, put that spring in between. Okay. And squeeze them in. And you just want to make sure that you're putting them in kind of roughly at the same time, because you want to make sure that that spring stays properly in place. And once they're in, okay, when they're sitting all the way in, then just hex 5 and tighten this back, both sides, and then we're just gonna double check that that spring is properly in place, because when I tried to do it in the first place, it wasn't sitting properly in, but I think now it is. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so that's sitting properly in a place, and I'll just try and take a small hex to see will this to move spring left and right. It is moving a little bit, but not too much, so that's perfectly fine. Now let's put that back. Okay, interestingly, like the paint already peeled off. Segway Ninebot, I was expecting a little bit of a better paint job. Scooter has only 600 kilometers on the clock. Only 600 kilometers. And not even 2 months. Okay. And now the front one. There. Now, usually, you know, on some other brakes, you would actually need to adjust brakes as well. But because here are both of the brake pads are moving at the same time, this should actually work absolutely fine. Let me check. Yeah. Yeah. This is absolutely great. Okay. Now I'll move a scooter, try and turn it around somehow, and we'll try and do a rear wheel as well. And then I'm gonna actually show you with the rear wheel how to actually do brake adjustment as well. Okay, so we're back at the rear wheel. Now on the rear wheel, I'll do it the way I would usually do it on any of the scooter. If you're doing it this way, you will need to do a brake adjustment when you're finished. That's one of the reasons why I actually kind of prefer to take it off there. But okay, let's do it. Let's do it the way most of the people would probably do it in most case scenario, and you should get a longer hex. This is gonna now take a little while to take those two bolts off. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna take a brake caliper off. This is the way you would usually take it off. And we're gonna again loosen a brake cable. Okay, loosen that. By the way, before you actually start even doing this, if you didn't know, you have two adjustment points on your brakes. Okay, so first is going to be this. Okay, so this is going to be your first adjustment point if your brakes are not braking as best. You can do it here. Okay, and then another option is actually on your handle as well. So you can do quite a good adjustment on your brake handle and here, but if both of that is not working, well, then you need to replace the brake pads. And I'll show you actually that at the very end when you put them just back in. But okay, let's try and do this again here on a rear wheel. Okay, so again, I'll try and push them towards middle. Yeah, as soon as I push a brake pad towards middle, it's coming out. It's just, you need to do one brake pad at a time. Okay, and now the second one. Okay, and with the second one, hopefully we'll get the spring out. Yeah, we got the spring out as well. Okay, now we'll be able to see here maybe a bit better. I'm gonna try and put the brake pads back in without loosening a brake caliper, even that I really don't think that's gonna work. But well, let me try. Especially not with the brand new brake pads, like, you know, that are still perfectly fine. Like these brake pads, oh, they're gonna do, especially with my type of driving, they're gonna do at least 1,000 kilometers more. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna be working at all. No. So okay, so I will rather than loosen them, because I want to be putting them quite parallel inside, like, because if I just put one at a time, the spring's not gonna be sitting properly in place. But okay, it's almost done. Yeah, it should be more than enough space now to squeeze them both in. I'm kind of not in favor of these brake pads, to be honest. Like, I don't know, they're not the easiest to install, but it's easier to put to do them on a rear wheel, because you have more space. You definitely have more space here in the back. Just adjusting them a little bit, and yeah, that's fitted perfectly back in place. Tighten them. Yeah, it was much easier on a rear wheel than on a front wheel, but luckily you won't be replacing front brake pads as much. Okay, so we did that. Now we're gonna put brake caliper back in, so this is gonna take a little while, so I'll probably just speed up a video so that you're not watching me struggling for another 5 minutes putting this back on. But then after that we'll need to actually center a brake caliper towards disc, because it needs to be centered. Since we removed those bolts here, it's not going to be centered anymore. It's a pretty simple thing to do, but it's really important. If you don't do that, then the brake pads won't be wearing out in the same way, and you'll need to replace your brake pads even faster. Okay, so when you're centering a brake caliper, as you can see, like I can move brake caliper around. So you tighten it all the way in, then you loosen it like one full circle, and then you need to do this as well. Yeah, of course, tighten the brake line. I actually wasn't expecting this to fell off, but okay. Tighten the brake line, not all the way in, but a bit closer. Okay. Okay, and then hold your brake. Okay. There, pay attention a little bit more. So the hose wasn't properly in place, and because of that, I didn't manage to tighten the brake line properly. So okay, let's try and do it again. There. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. And now you just hold the brake lever, and when you hold the brake lever, then that means that now brake caliper is centered in relation to a brake rotor. Now you just tighten those two, and that's perfectly fine now. Okay, just a little bit more. There we go. And now I'm going to actually show you also that adjustment. Now, when you're holding a brake lever, this is almost perfect. Proper way. So when you press the brake lever like halfway through, it should be blocking the wheel. If that's like, you can see that it's still moving kind of freely. So now what we're gonna do? Now I'm gonna show you that adjustment ring that you have here and just show you that you can really adjust your brakes this way before you're even thinking about replacing brake pads. Okay, and just don't go all the way out, of course, but you have a small nut there, and basically you have enough threads usually on this to fit like 2 nuts. So this is the first adjustment, and now you have another adjustment you have on the handlebars. And I'm just going to see, will I be able, so now it's already braking. So you can, you can really adjust quite a lot with only those 2 adjustments, but if none of that doesn't work, you have option to adjust to tighten a brake line, or if that doesn't work, then, well, worst case scenario, of course, if your brake pads are gone, then you need to replace brake pads. Anyways, guys, that's all. I hope you did manage to see it well. If I find a better way of doing it, I'll make another video. As usual, this is going to be all for this time. Till next time, please stay safe out there and respect other road users. Bye bye.